I am on here today with one of my incredible clients. Her name is Lynnea. I'm going to have her introduce herself a little bit, but I wanted to come on here today and introduce all of you to Lynnea so that you could hear a little bit about her experience inside of the 16-week program, Nourish Your Temple. So, Lynnea, why don't you tell us who you are, where you're from, and if you can remember what it was like just before you joined Nourish Your Temple. You were obviously looking for some sort of change in your life. Do you remember what it was?
Um, I think just a feeling of being stuck in the day-to-day routine. And I have studied shamanism in the past, and it kind of fell away because, life gets busy and you just get doing things when you have kids and teenagers and whatnot and work, and you get overloaded with stuff and you forget to take the time to do things for yourself. And I was just at a point in my life where I was like, you know what? I'm just going to make the time now. My kids have all moved out. They're doing their thing. I'm going to start doing my thing.
Beautiful, beautiful. When you, I think a lot of people will resonate with that, like feeling stuck. When you say you were feeling stuck, like, how do you mean, like in your spiritual journey, in your work, in your relationships? Can you remember what that was like?
I think more so in my spiritual journey. There was just a feeling of missing something. And
Mhm.
because when I did study shamanism, I got right into it and I just felt so good about myself, so empowered, positive, so you have your down days, but for the most part, positive. And I think I was just feeling like I was missing something. So when I saw this, I was like, that's what I need to do. That's what I'm missing. And as we got into it and doing it, and I was like, this was definitely what I was missing in my life. I just needed that.
Okay, beautiful. Yeah, I think again, a lot of people will resonate with that, like just feeling like there's something missing, like I can't quite pinpoint what it is, but there's something
Mm-hmm.
a little bit off. Yeah, I know I felt like
Yeah.
that too. So you joined the Nourish Your Temple program now like 10 weeks ago. So you have you've been in it. You've been in it. What has been your biggest surprise so far inside of the program?
I think my biggest surprise was, I think it was working with the pendulum. And I've worked with pendulums before, but I was a little bit hesitant. And now
Mhm.
that I've been working with it, now I have two, a tiger's eye and a citrine one. And I just cannot believe how fabulous it is to work with those. And I've also started using the oracle cards, which I've never ever done. And I just thought, well, you know what, I'll give it a whirl. And yeah, I just find those, it's super interesting. And like I said, I was hesitant, but I thought, you know what, I'm just going to do it and try it. And I just love working with them.
I think that's so amazing because, we all have spirit guides, we all have spirit allies, and then, of course, our higher self as well. We can channel through these pendulums. I've always got one in my hand. And through these cards, I'm looking behind me because I have just Oracle deck over after
Yeah.
Oracle deck after Oracle deck just right behind me here. And yeah, we can get so many incredible messages from our higher self, from our spirit guides, from our spirit allies, and that can really help us with exactly what you were saying,
Mhm.
feeling stuck. If we're feeling
Yeah.
stuck, well, pulling a couple messages can really help us find that clarity that, we're looking for.
And
Now,
then too, I find working with the pendulum and like Jaguar, being impeccable with your word, watching how you word your what you're saying or what your intention is, and then getting the answers. And I'm starting to learn to be more impeccable with my word. And I've said stuff, and then I'm like, and then I've had to switch the wording around a little bit or switch a word out, and then I find that has more power to it.
yeah, I totally agree. So, for those of you who are watching, if you use a pendulum, that is something to seriously take into consideration. How you word your question is going to be
Mm-hmm.
the answer. And we can manipulate these little guys. We can get whatever answer we want, but the answer that we want and the answer that we need are two very, very, very different things.
Yeah.
The Nourish Your Temple program, it really is mind, body, and soul, like finding that balance with the mind, body, and the soul. And I'm wondering if you can share with us what sort of wins have you had with regards to balance? Has there been any big shifts for you in regards to your mind, your body, or your soul that weren't there before you joined the program?
I think a big shift for me is the connection with my body.
Mm.
I was one, well, I used to have an eating disorder, And I was one for stepping on the scale every morning and not eating very much and, basically kind of trying to starve myself. And you just old mentality mindset there. And since I shifted that, I find that I like my body more. I mean, I'm still working towards that, but I'm liking my body more. And it's taken a while, and I don't step on the scale once, twice a day now. I've gotten past that. And I am, as you know, eating more fiber and more protein, trying to hit that 120 grams of protein every day. And I find that's totally made a difference with my mood too. Getting the right foods in me, it affects your mentality, your mental state, and your moods. Yeah, for sure.
Wow. Before we hopped on here today, I said, and Lynnea, I'm not going to tell you the questions I'm going to ask you because I just want everything to come out intuitively. And I trust that, what you share is exactly what you're meant to share. And I just want to thank you for sharing that because that it is my intention in these 16 weeks together to help you love yourself and love your body. And
yeah.
wow, I'm so grateful. That's amazing. And it's 11:11, by the way. I just
Oh,
11:11. That's amazing. So perfect. Well, I just have one last question.
mm-hmm.
And I'll ask if there's anything else that you feel like sharing. But, we've got registration open for the month of April. There's 4 spots available in Nourish Your Temple. If you were talking to someone who is on the fence and they've been seeing these posts, they've been watching and opening the emails and all these things, but they're still on the fence, they're not quite sure, you know what that feels like. I'm not sure if I want to do this. I'm not sure if I will, or what if I do it and I don't follow through, or wherever self-doubt and self-sabotage comes from. What would you say to somebody who is considering joining this program?
Whatever your hesitation or your fear is, step into it and just do it because you will not regret it. 100% you won't regret it. Even if you just take a little away from it, whatever you can take away from it, it's always good. It's always better for you as a person.
I love that you said that because you're absolutely right. It is fear. It is fear. Everything that we do, every choice that we make, every decision that we make, every thought that we have, it either comes from love or it comes from fear. And so many of us are so used to allowing that fear to hold us back because, that's what our monkey brains do, right? They keep us in our comfort zone.
Yeah, exactly.
Nothing scary can happen here inside of the comfort zone, right? So let's just here where it's nice and cozy.
Yeah, that's right.
Anything else that you'd like to share with us before we wrap up today, Lynnea?
No, I would just say, this course is well worth it. I'm so happy that I've taken it and it's reawakened things in me that I had from a long time ago. And I just wish I would have gotten back into it years ago and just made the time for myself.
Thank you. Thank you so much for sharing that. And Lynnea, I'm so grateful. Thank you so much for trusting me in this part of your journey. We all call in the right people at the right time in our lives. And I feel like with everything you've shared today that you've taken away from this program and what my intentions are for this program to really help you, to empower you to take control of really learning to love yourself and love your body and get back into feeling really good about your spiritual journey, your mindset, your body. That really shows me that what I've put into this is what you're taking away from it. And I couldn't be more grateful. And thank you so much.
Yeah, well, thank you. I appreciate you.
Thank you.